It all began on a Saturday morning last month. My mother was cleaning the attic, searching for old holiday decorations, when she found something that stopped her in her tracks. It wasn't a dusty box or an antique suitcase. It was my diary. The leather cover was worn, the lock broken years ago, but she said something about the way it lay there, open on the wooden boards, made her uneasy. She handed it to me with trembling fingers. I recognized my own handwriting instantly. Messy cursive from when I was 15. But one name stood out, scrawled in bold capital letters on the first page. Emmeline Ward. I had never heard that name before. The page was dated October 13th, 2008. I flipped through the diary, but Emmeline's name appeared only once more, in barely legible pencil, at the bottom of a random entry from the same month. The entry described me walking home from school in the rain, thinking it felt like something was watching me. Emmeline, I know you're there. I must have written it spontaneously. But the name rang no memory. Panic stirred in me. My mother glared at me as if trying to read my mind. Do you know her? She demanded. I shook my head. My skin prickled with the memory of that entry. I had no idea who Emmeline Ward was, or why I had felt compelled to write her name as if I knew she existed. After my mother left, I sat on the attic stairs and scrolled through old emails, chatting with old friends, even yearbook notes. No Emmeline ever appeared, not in photos, not on Facebook fished up by some obscure comment. And yet, the name in my handwriting was impossible to ignore. That evening, I returned to the attic to investigate further. I felt drawn up there, as if the diary didn't really want to be found in the first place. I opened the diary and for the first time whispered the name aloud. Emmeline Ward. Soft scuffing beneath the attic floor creaked in response. I froze. Heart pounding, I dropped the diary, and the scuffing stopped instantly. Weeks passed. I couldn't shake it. I began hearing soft, distant footsteps above me at night. My house is small and cramped. Anything sounds loud. But these were deliberate, walking down the hallway above the attic. I would sit awake, breath shallow, waiting until it passed. One night, I woke at exactly 3:07 a.m. I heard a gentle rustle upstairs, then a voice so soft it might have been the wind. It said, Emmeline? I froze, my jaw locked in horror. The attic door remained closed. There was no one upstairs. My house wasn't big enough for hidden rooms. My entire family sleeps downstairs. I dared not speak. The next morning, I approached my mother. Did you say that last night, Emmeline? Her face turned ashen. She looked at her feet and shook her head. I heard a noise. Sounded like a child. She didn't mention the name. A chill washed over me. We both knew I shouldn't be the only one who recognized it. The diary seemed to lean towards the pages I passed at random, as if inviting me to find more names. I began a small ritual. Each night, I opened it to a random page, read, then closed it, and listened. On Halloween night, I opened to an entry dated October 27th, 2008. Butterflies printed in the margins. We played hide and seek. She found me first. Under that, in sloppy pencil, Emmeline Ward. My breath caught in my throat. Who had I played hide and seek with in my own house 12 years ago? I wrote in that diary at 16. We lived here since I was born. I had no clue anyone else ever played hide and seek in the house. I rummaged through old photo albums silently that night. School portraits, birthday parties at home, holiday dinners. Not a single girl named Emmeline appeared. No little girl with my grandmother. No ghost photo in the corner of any group shot. Nothing. But I remembered something. A day 12 years ago, standing outside in the yard. The air sharp with autumn cold. My grandparents nearby. I must have gone inside to avoid leaf raking. Maybe I left the diary open on my pillow. I must have scribbled the name while feeling watched. But by whom? And why now, emerging like an echo from my past? As the moon passed midnight, I heard footsteps in the hallway again. But this time, I stood and followed the sound, barefoot, cold. The attic door glimmered in the faint moonlight, filtering through a small window. My footsteps echoed quicker as I climbed. I reached the top stair. The diary lay open on the floor, pages fluttering as though someone turned them. I froze. "Emmeline?" I whispered, voice cracking. The pages stopped, and a weight sank onto the diary. Heavy, deliberate. I gasped. I leaned closer. A single sentence had appeared in familiar handwriting. "Now you remember me." My heart stopped. I raced down the stairs and out of the attic, smash cut. Felt like fleeing a slowly closing trap. I locked the attic door and put a chair under the doorknob. I don't know who Emmeline Ward is. I don't know why I wrote her name. I don't know who or what is out there, creeping around my attic, calling her name in the dead hours. But I do know this. When my mother found the diary, she found someone else's story, hidden in mine. And she didn't write it. The morning after, I saw the name appear in the diary. "Now you remember me." I barely slept. I sat in bed, holding that notebook like it might change again if I blinked. The attic door stayed shut, but the feeling didn't leave. That uneasy sense of being observed. Around 9 a.m., I decided to go to the library. Not for books, for records. I searched public archives for the name Emmeline Ward. I started local. Birth certificates, school rosters, obituaries. But nothing came up in our city. Not from the time I'd have known her. Not even decades earlier. Then I tried broader. Just Emmeline Ward and my state. One record. A child, 8 years old, missing in 1996. 2 years before I was born. The photo wasn't clear. A scan from an old newspaper clipping. But her face sent a spike of nausea through me. Big eyes, soft jawline, a slight tilt of the head. She looked like someone I'd dreamed of before, but never remembered after waking. She'd gone missing near the edge of our town. She was never found. The case faded into cold storage, left behind like the attic where my diary waited. That night, I couldn't help myself. I opened the attic door again. Slowly. The wooden stairs creaked under my weight, like they were exhaling after being ignored. I climbed up. The air was cooler than it should have been. Still. The diary was where I left it. Center of the floor, closed. But a small square piece of paper now sat on top of it. It was a photograph. Old, torn at the corner. It showed a little girl playing in what looked like my backyard. Slightly overgrown grass, the exact rusted swing set I used to climb as a kid. Her back was turned, but scribbled on the bottom in blue ink were 2 words. Found me. I dropped the photo and stumbled back. Something whispered from behind the attic beams. A long, drawn-out breath. I slammed the attic door shut again. My hands shook too badly to lock it, so I pushed my dresser in front of it and didn't sleep that night. The next day, I went to ask my grandmother if she ever heard the name Emmeline Ward. She stared at me too long, then said, "No, sweetheart. That doesn't sound familiar." But her lips thinned. Her voice cracked on the no. And when I stood to leave, she added softly, "Your room used to be the guest room." That was strange. I'd always thought it was mine since we moved in. "Who stayed there?" I asked. Her silence said more than her words. I returned home that evening with my heart pounding. My mother was sitting at the kitchen table. "I talked to Grandma," I said. She didn't look at me. I pressed again. "Was my room always mine?" Her spoon clinked loudly in the cereal bowl. She set it down. "You had bad dreams when you were young," she said finally. "Talked in your sleep. About someone named Emmeline." I went cold. "So you do know the name?" She exhaled sharply. "We thought you made her up. An imaginary friend. You stopped talking about her when you were 7. I couldn't speak. Then she added, "We found your diary on the kitchen counter once. You had drawn her face on the last page. You wrote, 'She comes when I forget.'" I asked, "Why didn't you tell me?" Her voice trembled. "Because you looked at me like you didn't know who I was." That night, I didn't go upstairs. I left the attic shut and went to bed early. But at exactly 3:07 a.m., I woke up gasping. The air in my room was freezing. My windows were shut. Still, my breath came out in misty puffs. My phone buzzed next to me with a notification. One new photo added to iCloud. I hadn't taken any photos. Hands trembling, I opened the photo app. It was a shot of me, asleep, taken from the corner of the ceiling. I dropped the phone. That was it. I called my mom into the room, showed her. She didn't speak, just turned pale. We both agreed it was time to burn the diary. We took it into the backyard. My mom poured lighter fluid on it. I lit the match. The flame flared fast, curling the edges of the paper. We stood in silence as it turned to ash. The air felt warmer. We didn't speak about it again. But sometimes, I still dream of her. Not violently, not with screams or running, just her, Emmeline, standing in the attic, smiling, waiting. One night, I heard my mom crying softly from her room. I stood outside her door. Through the crack, I saw her sitting on the floor, holding something. A photograph. The one I thought I burned. The one with the girl in the backyard. She had circled the girl's head with red pen. Written beneath it, "She's mine." And in that moment, I remembered something else. I had a sister. Born in 1996. She died before I turned 3. We never said her name. But it's written in my diary. Now, every year on October 13th, I find something in the attic. A hair ribbon, a button, a whisper. She never left. She just waits for me to forget, so she can be remembered again.